So hi everyone, and a warm welcome to our APSIS webinar. I'm Veronica, joining you from Helsinki, where the sun made a short but beautiful appearance this morning. Those people who knows this city can probably relate to that this city feels really alive when the sun decides to come up. I'm excited here to be today together with my colleague Panu as your hosts, and hope you're having a great day too. How's your weather looking over in Stockholm, Panu?
Thank you, Veronica. It's also look, the sun made a few peaks, so much so that I had put on some curtains not to be sunstruck during this webinar today. But yeah, we're definitely going towards the summer, which is really nice and good. And really great to be here today and to have you everyone joining online.
Sounds really good. So we can both probably agree that today's theme is an exciting one, recruit and retain smarter membership growth. And why is it interesting? Because growing your member base is one thing, but keeping them engaged and coming back is where the real magic and challenge happens. And that's what this webinar is all about, giving you some insights and practical tips to help you along the way. So let's dive in.
Yes.
All right. So key topics we'll cover today. First, I will talk about the common challenges that membership organizations face today, the struggle that many of you might be dealing with. Then Panu will dive into strategies to attract new members, exploring some effective ways to reach out and appeal to potential members. After that, we'll share some best practices for member acquisition, practical tips on how to successfully bring new members on board. We'll also talk about how to retain and engage your existing members, keeping your members happy, loyal, and active over time. And of course, we'll wrap up with a live QA session where you can ask your questions and get some expert insights. You can write them in the chat. And lastly, the webinar will be recorded and sent to you afterwards.
Nice.
Okay. So let's talk about some common challenges. First, one of the most common issues is getting new members in the door. It's often hard to attract younger audiences or reach new segments, especially if you're relying on more traditional channels like print, email, or physical events. On top of that, many organizations don't have the time or resources to test new campaigns or see what actually works, so growth stalls. And second, even when people do join, they don't always stay. Many organizations face challenges with member retention. People sign up, but they don't renew. This frequently due to a lack of perceived value or meaningful engagement. In some cases, it's simply competing priorities or limited budgets. Either way, the outcome is the same, churn. And finally, there's the challenge of making the value of membership clear. A lot of members expect more these days. They want more than just a newsletter or a login. If the benefits aren't relevant, timely, or clearly communicated, interest fades and fast. And if the organization can't clearly explain the return on investment, people naturally start to question what's in this for me. And to sum up, so these are some of the key challenges we often see, not just in membership organizations, but in many other types of companies too. I hear them regularly in conversations with my customers. How about you, Panu? We're both in customer-facing roles. Do you hear these challenges coming up?
Yeah, yes, I do. And yeah, to be honest, there's a lot of challenges, but I think these three are certainly one of the most common ones. And I hear them, yeah, so just to give a little bit of context, so I also work with a variety of organizations and companies, but when it comes to membership organizations, so we work with charity organizations, unions, all kinds of commercial associations, so everything from taking care of the human rights, kids, cats, dogs, boats, your professional skills and anything in between. But overall, like the same same phenomenon, same issues, same problems and pain points stick out. So this is, yeah, I'm sure this is something that very many of us recognize working within the membership organizations. So addressing the issues, so let's go further into how things could be. You know, there has to be some alternative. So let's imagine a smarter, stronger membership organization where new members would join consistently. That's something that we want. And the members feel seen, they feel heard, they feel valued. And retention for us who work with them becomes easier and more consistent. And your team works smarter, not harder. And lastly, you know what's working and why, because you can see the data. So that would sound pretty amazing, right?
Yes.
And of course, there will be some work to do to get there. And today, for today's sessions, so we want to share this framework where we divided this, the action of getting new members, acquiring them, and retaining them into three phases: attract, acquire, and retain. And as it is with all these models and templates and frameworks, like none of them are perfect, but many of them are usable, and it's good to use these so that you can oversimplify things so that you can actually think and then work your way back to the reality of like what is it like to attract and acquire and retain new members. So how might this framework work when it comes to customer or member journey? So let's look another simplification of these phases. So to attract, to acquire, to retain members. So the first part would be, of course, increasing the awareness within the people or the target group that we are reaching out to. The second one, overlapping a little bit with the next one, we should have some kind of action supporting the purchases or the signups or the joining as a member. And lastly, the last part, when we have already the member, then it has very much to do with communication. So let's go through these three through one by one, and we'll start with the attract part. So how do we get new members? And I would recommend to start with asking some inquiring questions yourself and within your organization. I think it's always good to ask some good questions. They can be really revealing. So what's our addressable market? Who are we trying to reach, and why should they care? So we're also considering like why are we doing this, and why should the people that we are trying to recruit, why should they care? Is our value proposition clear and compelling? And what channels are we using today? Which one of them are bringing us most traffic and visibility? And are we using some data to understand what interests our audience? And I think this maybe you want to take a screenshot or something and try to answer these questions yourself. And then maybe your boss, maybe your colleague, and just to get an overview, like how aware are we of our own actions when it comes today within the attracting new members. And then from that, once you get some of those questions answered, you can also map out, okay, what are the concrete actions that you're doing today? And then let's take an example how it might work in the example case of, let's say that you have a membership organization and you have amount of donors. So then the question might be, okay, how do we convert a visitor on a website to a one-time donor or maybe a subscriber? So just to give some example how you might approach this, could be using lead magnets. That's all kinds of guides, checklists, other white papers, so that you can start collecting people's email addresses. And once you have the email address, then you're free to communicate more. And there you could use something called lead nurturing flow. And flow in this context, if you're not familiar with marketing automation, it means flow of communication. So there are some preset communication flows that take place. And practically in the platform where you design this, where you create the emails, when you schedule them, when you put them in a sequence, could look something like this. And what does it actually say in those emails? It of course has to do with your membership organization and the context. But that would be like, I think the first critical part is how do you convert a one-time visitor into a donor? Because the social media, like there's a lot of traffic that can go by, but as soon as you get the email address, then that's actually data that you own, and then you have the channel to communicate to those prospects. Okay, the next one, acquire. So let's say you have the email address, and then first let's go to the key questions to ask yourself. Are we making it easy and desirable to join? What's our lead to member conversion rate of the amount of leads that we meet on exhibitions or on website? How many of those we can turn to members? And are we following up fast enough with the warm leads? That can also make a difference. And do we have a clear onboarding flow once we have the new member? And there are a bunch of other questions you could ask, but it's good to start with a little bit of difficult questions so that you get a better understanding of your current situation. Then let's take another example in this acquire phase. So let's say you've had the one-time visitor turn into a donor. So they made one donation to your organization. So how do we convert that into a monthly donor so that it wasn't only one-time thing, but you have them donate monthly? One approach could be to use what I call the appreciate, show impact, and ask donor conversion flow. And here's the simplification of the automated communication and kind of the topics, like what happens in those 4 or 5 or 6 emails. So first you thank and affirm, like instantly, thank you for joining, thank you for making the donation, and show some appreciation. Secondly, you would show them impact later on after a few days or weeks, like if it was, let's say it's a charity and you gave a donation. So then you would continue to affirm on, okay, how much good was made with the donation that you made. So, and what was the impact? And then eventually you can do what I call the soft ask, invite them to make a lasting difference. Why not join a monthly support program? And then reinforce, share stories, testimonials, and reasons to join monthly, like give all the reasons to join. And then if still no action, you can then automatically remind them, nudge them after 30 days, or based on engagement, meaning that maybe they went to your website, maybe they opened another email. And lastly, give the offer, highlight time limited or match given opportunities. Like why would it be like a very good opportunity to turn into a monthly donator right now? So appreciate, show impact, and ask. And practically, again, taking these ideas and let's say that we've written all the content, what does it say in each phase? Then the actual work in scheduling this sequence is quite straightforward in the marketing automation platform. Then thirdly, now we've have a monthly donator or a member if it's a different kind of membership organization. So again, let's start with the key questions. Are our members actively using their benefits? Do you track it today? Do we understand what keeps them satisfied or causes churn? How often are we communicating, and is it relevant what we are communicating? And do we track engagement and intervene early? And intervene, especially in inactive, like if we can find some signs of inactivity from the members, like do we have strategy or tactics in place to intervene? So maybe try answering these questions to yourself or within your organization. And then let's take an example. And this time it's two-phase. Let's say that you want to identify, let's say that in your situation, after answering those questions, maybe you realize that, oh, okay, we actually have quite a good amount of incoming leads, new members. We have a quite stable conversion rate when it comes to acquire, but we actually are losing some of the existing members. So maybe that would be something where you focus first. So then how to identify churn risks. And let's say in this example, we would also have a membership where it's possible to have like a student membership, maybe at a lower cost per monthly. So we would want to both identify the churn risks who are about to leave and also kind of upsell part of the memberships. So how might we approach this? Let's re-engage the inactive members and then set up some upsell flows. And these two could look something like this. So the churn risk, the trigger could be no activity in 90 plus days, and no activity can vary of the channels. Maybe it's on the website, maybe like no clicks on the emails, maybe you have some other sources like no logins on my page in your membership portal. And then you could, based on that, you could trigger communication message, we miss you. Maybe it doesn't have to say we miss you, but the idea is there. Then maybe sharing some, reminding them of the top benefit and or sharing some resources that they could be interested. Maybe throw in a quick poll, like, are you still interested in these services? And if needed, the last resort, a win back offer if needed. Like it's still valuable to stay as a member or renew your membership. And then let's say that if this happened in the same organization, so we got the win back, or maybe it was a student that eventually we want to turn into a full member. Maybe they're finishing their studies. So if we would have that, maybe we can have that as a data point. We know that when their status ends as a student, so then we could trigger a few months before some automatic communication, like highlight the full membership benefits, invite them to an event or maybe a mentorship, and then also send reminders with upgrade call to actions. And again, like these are the steps or the main ideas, and then we would write out the actual email, like what does it actually say in the we miss you email, or what does it actually say in the full membership benefit email. And then after that, we would again just map out the sequence, like what happens first, what's the first email, then we wait for 3 days or 2 weeks or whatever, then we send another email, and then we check if they're still inactive, or if they have become a member, or if they still are a student or so. So then we just lay it out in the tool. And to make this, like as you can see, there's part of like answering yourself kind of the inquiring difficult questions, then figuring out like what's my priority, what's our priority as a membership organization, like is it attracting or acquiring or retaining, and then at some point you would need to make it practical and implement it. So then let's see an example here how it might look like in practical terms. So again, the attract, acquire, retain. In this one, we have the green ones will be marketing automation, the pink ones will be basic newsletters. So the difference between these two, the email newsletter is something that I actually sit today and send out the newsletter to all our members, whereas the marketing automation is something where you write the emails beforehand and then you just schedule them. Like whenever we have a new member, they get these and these emails. So first we would start with determine which things in the customer or the member journey indicate changes in the IQL, MQL, SQL. Like not everyone has to go this specific, but it can be good to know, like the information qualified lead is someone who downloaded the white paper, the checklist. Marketing qualified lead could be someone who also checked the membership benefits pages. Maybe sales qualified lead could be someone who started even filling the membership form but didn't finish it. And then you can build marketing automation flows around all of these. And then also you could start collecting website behavioral data. Depending a little bit on what do you have on your website, like how much material you have there, you could use that data also to determine how interested, how likely are these visitors to become members. Then you could have, and of course you should have something they can sign up for the newsletter, to subscribe to a newsletter, and there you could have a welcome flow, like welcome to our subscriber, here's some material, you might be here at the latest newsletters, you might be interested in these articles, and so forth. And once you get them in, you can start also using sending like your regular monthly, weekly newsletters where you can build brand and your expert image, maybe share some blog articles. And then moving towards the acquire phase, maybe you have some content downloads from websites, even more material. If you're running physical events or webinars, you can have automate that process, the invitation, the signups, the reminders, and the follow-up emails after that. Maybe if someone is showing really a lot of interest, maybe send an internal notification to your, maybe you have a salespeople who then call to these persons. And then you finally get the contact, and let's say that at this point you would make them a member. And then we would go into the retain phase, where all new members should know this and this and this and this. So then you could automate that part of the communication with the new member marketing automation flow. You could set up a pre-made upsell opportunities based on their bought services or the type of membership that they have. So you can offer them additional services based on what they serve automatically. And then depending on the membership type, maybe if it's like a membership for a year and it has to be manually renewed, or if you have auto renewal, you can have communication automated on that. Maybe it's like 60 days before the renewal, remind them, or maybe it's like, okay, welcome to a new period. Here are some reminders of this and these benefits. Make sure to use them, and this is new for this season. And lastly, of course, activation of the inactive members who might become a risk for joining or canceling their membership. It's good to have those automations also in place. And this maybe also take a screenshot from this one also just as an inspiration. You don't necessarily need to have all these steps. It's quite a lot of work, but I would rather recommend prioritizing. Like, is it within the attract? Is it in the acquire? Is it in the retaining? Like, where are we missing the most at the moment? And first, maybe map like what is it that we're doing today? And once you list those out, so maybe then you start seeing gaps. Oh, we're actually not putting that much effort in the retaining them. Or so you can also find some of the gaps that you might have today. And then, lastly, so then you'll continue with the newsletters, campaign, service information, event invitations, webinars, and so on and so forth. And as I was into this a little bit earlier there, so thinking, planning, strategizing, making some choices where you're going to focus. And then when it comes to actually having the communication to go out to your prospect, or maybe it's the members. So it can be that you might need to review your tech stack. Do you have the technology that you need? And you can do this with many platforms. Here we want to share why you might consider doing with us, with Appsys. And one of the best benefits that we have to offer is that we are happy to integrate with the CRM systems so that you get direct access to the customer insights. So you slip in having data in different silos and hard to use. So we really thrive to make that your customer data usable, whether it's CRM data or the behavioral data that happens in the emails and the websites and the forms and so on. And that will help you to turn that chaos into clarity and make smarter marketing decisions. And the second one is, of course, that you will get a full view of your customers, which will help you to be more relevant since you know what they're interested in, what they're doing, and you can also personalize the communication. So it doesn't have to be the same newsletter to all members, but you can actually even personalize the content inside the email so that one person will see the things that they are interested in, and the other one will see only the things that is relevant for them. And lastly, they get it. And this means in very practical terms, not all email marketing platforms are the same. Appsys has a really high delivery rate of 98%. That means that the amount of communication that you send out, it actually lands at the recipient's inboxes. Not all emails do. But we are really proud of that number, and we work hard on that so that your emails will reach your audience effectively, and therefore, you will get more bang for the marketing budget. And a little bit more of Appsys in numbers. Sometimes we get the question, yeah, we have tens of thousands of members, and we send quite a lot of emails. So can you handle the volumes? And then we're happy to share this. These numbers are from last year, so all the amount of emails that were sent by FSC and Apsys customers last year, yeah, so that's quite a lot of numbers, over 3 billion, and that makes it to 8.6 million emails per day. So that's quite a lot of volume. So yes, this is definitely something that we can help you with.
Yes, it's definitely a lot. Thank you, Panu, and thank you for the explanation. I think it was really clear and good, and yeah, really good insightful points. So now we would like to take a moment to highlight some of our fantastic reference customers who have successfully used Apsys to grow their memberships. And here we have our first one, Svenska Sjö, a Swedish customer, which is a member-owned insurance company specializing in tailored boat insurance. They offer exclusive benefits to their members. And on their marketing approach, they shared, we can create marketing campaigns and dialogues around ideas before lunch and launch them after lunch. This really highlights their agility and with the ease of use Apsys provides. They're able to quickly turn ideas into action, streamlining their marketing efforts with efficiency and speed.
Nice.
Yes, and then another Swedish customer, Hundstallet, which is a dedicated organization focused on rescuing and rehoming dogs. In their own words, Hundstallet shared their experience with Apsys. FSC marketing opened a whole new world with endless opportunities. We moved from a basic email system to something that is scalable and allows us to grow. The automated flows have strengthened our relationships, making communication more personalized and impactful. This highlights how Apsys has empowered them to scale their communication, building stronger relationships with their supporters while streamlining their processes.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have a Finnish customer, Taloushallintoliitto, is the Finnish Association for Financial Professionals, representing and supporting accounting firms and professionals across Finland. They shared this about their experience with Apsys One. We've been able to use Apsys One's email segmentation, CRM integration, and marketing automation to target messages perfectly, whether we're talking to seasoned finance pros or student members. This shows how Apsys One helps them tailor communication to different audiences, making sure each message is relevant, targeted, and effective. Yes. And yeah, we're really thrilled to see these success stories, and we're committed to continuing to support both new and existing customers on their growth journey. Panu, could you walk us through how to get started with us?
Yeah. So some of the key takeaways and how to get started. Let's just roll it out. 4 steps. So I would start with the map your customer or member journeys. Like, where do we get them? How do we get them in, and what do they do after, and how do we keep good care of them? And then, second step, ask yourself, what should we be doing in these attract, acquire, retain phases? Create some kind of early plan, and then you prioritize which ones should we start with, and then you put that into a timeline. Should we do something before summer? Do we take it after summer, before end of the year, and so on? And then third, review the technology. Do you have the tech stack you need today? Is CRM system? Can you do email marketing? Do you have marketing automation? Can you do segmentation? And then see for the implementation part. And then once you get up and running, the fourth step, review results and iterate. Like, it's very rarely that some of these would be like perfect from the go. You start somewhere and then we adjust as we notice, okay, here in this flow, we are maybe losing some people here. So let's adjust the times, let's adjust the tone a little bit in the email. So important thing is to get started, and then we'll always iterate and get better. Yeah, I think these 4 would be the steps. And then let's see if we have some questions in the chat. I can see the chat, but Opri, do we have you online? Can you share us if there has been any questions in the chat?
Yes, hey all, and thanks for a very good webinar, Veronica and Panu. Let's see, do we have questions? I'm still waiting, so you can type on the questions on the Q&A box if you have any. But I could ask one question, which I hear quite often with this project. It's like, what is the most time-consuming part of actually starting to do more digitalized customer journey, for example, for the member organizations?
I can see it varying also. Sometimes people tend to spend a lot of time in the planning, and there's a risk that it kind of grows out of proportion. And then when it comes time to put things into, like, to implement, and let's say to write all those emails, only then we notice, oh, it's actually quite a lot of work. So then we scale down back into, okay, let's start with the new member welcome flow, or let's start with the automatic renewal flows. So it can be sometimes in the planning, sometimes it's within the content, but that depends. That's usually the case if the like most often the material is already there. It's on the website, it's on the membership, other materials, and then we just copy and pasting that to the emails. I've also seen that sometimes it can be the technical part. If it's an old, if there's an old like ERP, CRM system, maybe it's on premise, maybe the integrations are not so easy to connect to. So sometimes that it might, to be able to do this, we notice that, okay, actually we would need to, or the organization would need to update their other parts of their tech stack, the CRM or the system. So there are many, but usually it's solvable by going back to the priorities. Like what will be the most beneficial thing for us to do right now? What are the most beneficial areas that we should focus on right now? And then that will help kind of adjust the actions and come down cut down the time it consumes in total.
Great, thank you, Panu. I do not see any further questions, so maybe we'll just move forward. You can always, you will get an email afterwards. So if you have any questions, you are always, of course, free to reach out to our sales teams to get answers.
Yeah, and here's something that we wanted to share. If you're looking into email marketing automation, so this is a report that we published a few months back, the email marketing benchmark report. So feel free to scan the QR code or go to our website and download it. It's good stuff. And as Opri mentioned, the webinar the recording will be sent to you. And should there be any questions, you can always reach out to us. If you're a customer of us, you can reach out to your own contact person. If you're still new to us, you can just reach out to us. Veronica, should we be contacting you, or what would be the best way to get in touch with us?
For sure. Of course, if you're an existing customer, you probably already have a contact person, dedicated one. So just reach out to him or her. Otherwise, feel free to contact me, and we'll go from there.
Yes, great. Okay, with that said, thank you everyone so much for joining today, and hope to hear from you soon.
Thank you.
Take care now.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye.